There are legends round here, even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not dead. Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back, coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. My name's Isaiah. I'm joined tonight by Ted. We are back after a little bit of a week hiatus. Just kind of regrouping and stuff, enjoying the Halloween season. How are you doing tonight, Ted?
I am doing great. Just chilling, watching some Halloween movies. Been doing that the past few days. Just finished H2O and Resurrection tonight. Whoa, chills. Just thinking of Resurrection. Ooh. So, every time I think of Busta Rhymes, karate chopping, there it goes again.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I will say he's my favorite part of the movie, actually.
Yeah,
he has the best lines there.
His comic relief in the movie makes it for me, but otherwise, yeah, the movie's pretty terrible. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
it's the worst in the franchise, in my opinion.
It's a very close to last. I don't know. I kind of flip and flop with a couple of them, but yeah, that one's very low on my list. That's for sure. But yeah, Busta Rhymes, he's a good comic relief. That's really about one of the only good things. Well, that and the music. I do like the music in the movie. I thought,
yeah, the music's not bad.
Yeah, because I thought Danny Lux did a great job with the music, trying to make it feel more like Carpenter's original theme instead of... I love H2O, and I love what they tried something different with the music, even though they used a bunch of Scream's music in there. But like with the main theme, I love the whole orchestra with it. I thought that was good, and I thought it fit that movie pretty good. But it was nice to get back to kind of the basics with the music with this movie, and I did like that a lot. But yeah, with me, I ended up playing a little bit of catch up with movies because I've been kind of slacking a little bit. Last night was Joe Bob's Halloween Hootenanny. They ended up showing Halloween 1, 4, and 5. No Halloween 3, even though that's what everybody wanted to see, but it is Shudder and what they're able to license out and all that, so it's understandable that maybe they couldn't get that one. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. I made it about a quarter of the way or a third of the way through Halloween 5 because I've already watched that once. This month I didn't really feel like watching it again. Plus it was going super late because they started at 8 Central Time and I stopped about 2:15 to 2:30 Central Time. So, 6+ hours, and I was just kind of like, because I was live tweeting, during the whole event and stuff, which was a lot of fun. I've never done that before. I haven't really done much for tweeting either. So if you're listening to this and you were seeing some of my tweets, I'm glad you guys are gentle with me because that was really like the first time I've ever really tweeted anything. So it was an experience to say the least. But
I would have been a noob. I'd have been like, "What's up, guys? What's going on in here? This Twitter? What's going on in the Twitter now?"
It was a lot of fun. It was great. Shudder actually liked one of my tweets. I felt so accomplished that Shudder liked one of my tweets.
My Friday evening was so simpler. I just watched both versions. I watched both versions of The Curse of Michael Myers, and then pretty much went to bed. That was my Friday night.
Yeah, I still haven't watched Curse of Michael Myers yet. I did watch the producer's cut a couple months ago, so I'll probably end up just watching the theatrical cut.
I love the ending of that theatrical version. Yeah, I do too. It's so crazy.
Oh, I agree.
Surgery massacre, the surgeon, what do you call it? The operating room massacre. That's great.
Yeah, I see why people don't care for the theatrical version that much, but at the same time, it's not really as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, honestly.
It's not, and the producer's cut isn't some like undiscovered masterpiece that finally came out either. I mean, they're both versions have so many problems, and that's because of when I'm behind the production. So I mean, it's not. What do you call it? It's not like the holy grail of horror films when the producer's cut. It was great that it finally got an HD master and came out. I mean, because I like it, but let's be realistic here. It's not super great.
No,
there's a lot of I guess you could say, I don't want to say plot holes, but like character indecision, stuff like that, just like,
yeah, I think that's a nice way to put it. Yeah, it's
some things just don't make sense.
Right, each version has its pros and its cons, just like anything, and it's not a great movie either. I mean, let's just be honest here. It's not like the producer's cut is the best thing out there. I mean, it's still shooting low for the Halloween franchise, but it's not as low as some of them, and we can discuss that towards the end of this. But so that's still one I need to end up watching. And what else have I watched? I watched some more Creepshow. I've been keeping up on that.
Is that still a pretty good show? I don't have Shudder right now, so I don't know how it is. I know Sean likes it, but
I like it too. It's different with each episode and with each segment. Some things are really weird. Some things are creepy. Some of them are really cheap looking. Some of them are really like polished and look great. I like that it's kind of all over the place like that, because it kind of gives you a different flavor and feel for each thing. So it's not the same thing over and over and over again.
Does it remind you of like Freddy's Nightmares? Because that was kind of the same thing with Freddy's Nightmares. Some episodes were really great. Other episodes are so like low. You're just like, what the heck? And I just watch.
Yeah, I could see where it's like that, because it, like, if you think like Tales from the Crypt, a lot of the episodes kind of seem like they're kind of the same formula and kind of the same feel and everything. And it's not that way with this, which is great. I don't know. It's hard to really kind of describe it without you actually seeing it. So yeah, if anybody out there is listening to this, if you haven't checked out Shudder's Creepshow yet, I do highly suggest it. Just because there's a lot there that it's just so all over the place. It's really kind of hard to talk about just because it's so different. But I know we talked a couple weeks ago about one of the episodes where it's basically a girl has this dollhouse and these figures are almost like they're alive and stuff. And it's a really creepy episode. That one's really good. It's there's a whole different flavor for everybody, basically, is what it comes down to. There's going to be something for everybody in that show, I believe. So
nice. It's
definitely worth checking out if you got Shudder, or if you get like one of these, trial periods, like when they do the Joe Bob, specials, because they tend to do like the free preview for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever the case may be. So if you get a chance, check it out while you're checking out Shudder, because Shudder's got a lot it has to offer. So it's got a lot of good stuff on there, and that's just definitely one of them. But beyond that, I did watch Dawn of the Dead, and me and the wife ended up watching the Lon Chaney Hunchback of Notre Dame too.
Oh, nice.
So, and honestly, it's silent movies I got to really kind of be in the mood for. But I love that one.
It's good.
For being a 96-year-old movie, I really love that movie a lot. And it's not like short like a lot of these, silent films can be. It's an hour and 40 minutes. So it's really interesting, being able to watch that and, hearing about kind of the backstory of how they made the movie and stuff. Because holy crap, I mean, some of the stuff that these people went through to make this movie, it's a masterpiece in my opinion, that's for sure. Even for being almost 100 years old. So That was another good one. But yeah, it's been a lot of Netflix movies and stuff that's been on TV, or it's been kind of it's been kind of a little bit of everything for me watching stuff. So yeah, I think I'm almost back on track for completing 31 movies this month. Nice. I think I just need to catch up on one movie and then I'll be kind of back on track. But I don't know. I still got a couple of the Halloween movies to watch because I still want to fit in like 2018 in there and watch that again. And I got a couple other ones I want to watch.
And I keep contemplating, should I watch Rob Zombie's Halloween movies or just skip to the 2018? Because those are the last 3 Halloween movies in the franchise I need to watch. But like last year, I skipped Rob Zombie's movies, and I'm contemplating doing the same thing again. Not because I hate them or anything like that. I just they really don't feel like Halloween. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
I don't know. They just don't have that seasonal feeling. They feel like Rob Zombie movies. I don't know how else to explain it. So I mean, I took it out of my box set, and it's sitting right on my shelf, and I'm still just contemplating. Should I watch that tomorrow, or should I just watch the 2018 tomorrow, or watch 2018 tomorrow and then watch the Rob Zombie movies as its own separate thing? Since I mean that's what they are anyway. But
that might not be a bad way to do it either.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth. I think that's what I'll probably do if I decide to watch them.
Right.
I'm definitely watching the 2018. That's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's an easy one. To be able to watch
that, and I mean, you smoke weed.
But yeah, I mean, I still got to fit in some of Rob's other movies. I still got to rewatch House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and then
That was one of the first movies I watched this month. Was the House of a Thousand Corpses?
Yeah, that one I'll probably watch closer to Halloween.
Yeah,
if not on Halloween. But I don't know, because
daddy.
Because I shared that picture with you guys that I'm dressing up as Captain Spaulding. So
yeah, that is awesome looking too.
How perfect would it be for me to just dress up as Captain Spaulding, hand out candy if we end up doing that, and then watching House of a Thousand Corpses all at the same time? That'd be great.
Do it. I'm probably going to do what I did last year, is watch the extended version of John Carpenter's Halloween, and maybe Halloween 2 again. If anybody's on the chat, I'll probably be talking with you guys if y'all are on. Because I don't even get trick-or-treaters anymore, so I don't even bother with that stuff.
I don't think we will, but you never know. I mean, it's weird around here.
If I do get any, it's usually teenagers that are too old to be trick-or-treating. I wouldn't answer the door anyway. So I'm just like, no. Lights off. Go away.
Understandable.
Yeah. It's like, well, kids should be having fun, not taking candy from little kids.
Right, exactly.
Go buy your own candy. Go to the store. Dollar store's down and over down the street. Go get it.
Yeah, go buy your own shit. You're old enough and probably have your own money.
Yeah.
Damn kids. I sound old. I feel old.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my damn lawn. I'm not that old. Not yet, at least. Not yet, at least. But we got kind of a more relaxed show for you guys today. We're going to talk about a couple of things, but we're just going to kind of see where things take us tonight. We do got kind of a little bit of an outline, but we just want to talk, especially Halloween stuff and kind of the stuff that's been kind of interesting happening in the last week or two. So sit back, buckle up, and get ready for a ride here.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts. Classic Sam Jackson. Anyways, so starting off here, we are going to start off with just a little bit of news. So Halloween Kills has been in production now for a little while. Now, kind of the big story that's been kind of going around with the production going as it's been going on, because Jamie Lee Curtis on October 8th had her first day back on set. And the thing that everybody's been kind of talking about is the fact that she's actually done filming now. Her last day on set, at least for where they currently are, was on October 18th. So she was on set for a total of 10 days. And that, for whatever reason, had a lot of people worried that maybe she's being killed off or has a much smaller role in this movie versus, the other ones. But honestly, I mean, it's a horror movie. Movies in general,
they're filmed very fast.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the kind of day that these productions usually have, you're talking easily 12 to 16 hour days, number one.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, even with Halloween 2018, Jamie ended up filming all of her scenes in like 16 days. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that she got everything already filmed out in that 10-day span, especially if they were more on task and stuff and things just kind of went together a lot nicer. It's very reasonable for it to, go that quickly. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't think she's going to be killed off, especially when we've got a whole other movie coming afterwards. I mean, they may surprise us and it may end up happening that way, but I'm not like getting all worried and getting my panties in a bunch about it.
I'll wait until a movie comes out. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
And it could be done in such a cool way that, unlike Resurrection,
see you in hell.
Yeah. Kisses him on the lips on the mask, and Laurie was so stupid in that movie. I was rewatching it today. I'm just like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, people need to remember too, Donald Pleasance, he only filmed the original Halloween. He was only there for 5 days, got all his stuff done first. And he's one of the main characters. he's the hero. I mean, geez. I think that, if I remember correctly, the original Halloween, they only had 20 days to film anyway?
20 to 23, I think. It was something short
something
like
around
that.
there. Yeah. So he was only there for 5 days. And that's generally, I think, how it was on most of the ones with him, is they got all his stuff done first. And
right.
Because I remember when, was it Halloween 4 when he gave Danielle Harris his trailer after he finished filming? He's like, here, just give it to her. And
she said so.
Yeah, I remember her saying it was like this huge double wide trailer, but I mean, I remember that one time they talked about how he had that hat on all night and they didn't catch it and they had to go back and refilm everything.
That's funny.
I remember that. I was like, oh man, because they have pictures of it. He's wearing this little hat to keep warm because it was getting cold and forgot to take it off and nobody noticed it either. And they started filming. They're like, this whole time Loomis isn't wearing anything, and now we have all these scenes where Loomis is all of a sudden wearing a hat.
Right.
I had to go back and redo everything. I was like, man, that sucks.
That's funny.
But yeah, these movies
suck,
they
but it's
film.
funny.
Yeah, like these horror films, man, they film really fast, and so
yeah, that's the thing that people got to remember. These aren't like Marvel epic movies that take 6 months to film.
No.
I mean, these are not like all green screen needing to, set everything up right, or huge set pieces, things like that.
Yeah.
Literally, they're in a small town in North or South Carolina, wherever it is. They're filming on location. I mean, really, the major things they got to set up is lights and like the camera equipment and all that. So, I mean, it's not going to be nearly as long of a schedule as people seem to think that it is. Because honestly, 12 hours of work to 16 hours of work a day, I mean, for 10 days, that's a lot. That's a lot of filming. And
it's a lot of setups that you can get done.
Yep. Especially if they got it blocked off, filming different things that all kind of go together so that they don't have to switch things around nearly as much. So if they're doing it right, you can get a lot done in that 10 days. So I really think people just got to kind of just take a breath and just know that it's going to be done. It's going to be great.
I think people are just worried about a resurrection type thing again. I mean, in Resurrection, I knew something was going to happen because she was only on set for like 4 days for that movie.
Right.
And so right there when I read that on the internet, and I was like, oh, so they're going to kill her off probably. And of course they do, and it was the dumbest way they could kill her off ever, because Laurie became an idiot, and I'm just like, what? I'm like... Well, we can get into that later, of course, but yeah. So as long as the movie's good, whether she dies or lives, that's what I'm hoping for. I just want it to be a good movie like the last one, and we can move from there.
Exactly. So the other thing with Halloween Kills that they were talking about quite a bit lately is there was this picture going around of this guy that looks exactly like Donald Pleasance, and he was in a barber shop, and for whatever reason, everybody thought just because he looked like Donald Pleasance that maybe he was going to be a stand-in for Donald Pleasance to bring Dr. Loomis back in this movie. And Ryan, what's his name, Tyrek or whatever, one of the producers.
Yeah,
I forget what his last name is.
I know who you're talking about, though.
But one of the producers got, wind of this and whatnot and shot it down, saying that this is not somebody that's working on this movie and all that. So, and honestly, as great as it would be to see Dr. Loomis back in like a flashback scene, I don't know if they should do it. That
was kind of one of my problems with 2018 is... When they meet Dr. Sartain and Laurie says, "Oh, you're the new Dr. Loomis." I hated that line. I was like, "Gosh, that's too meta for me for a Halloween movie."
Right?
It's just like, "You're the new Dr. Loomis." I'm like, can you just not say that? I mean, he already mentioned that he was like Loomis's protege.
Yep.
So I'm just like, leave it at that. You don't have to have that line. You're the new Dr. Loomis. That's just a pet peeve of mine.
Right. But yeah, so it doesn't sound like they're going to get any sort of Loomis in any flashbacks or anything, which I'm fine with. I mean, if they could do it right and make it be convincing, I'm all for it. But at the same time, it's not really needed. They've got enough returning characters from the first one now with Halloween Kills that they really don't need to go to that well and try to make that work, even though if they can do it and if it's going to be a surprise and if it's going to be good, that's great. But at the same time, they don't need to. But that's just my personal take on that. I'm fine either way. I just hope that they don't and try to make it be something that it's not going to end up being,
Just try, I don't want them just trying to play off of nostalgia, which I don't think that's what they're going to do. But
no,
that to me, that's just another form of pandering, and I hate being pandered to like that. So I don't think that's what they're going for. I mean, I know, we have the speculation of flashback scenes, and we got Lonnie back and stuff like that, but bringing like Lonnie back, nobody's like nostalgic for Lonnie. It's a story choice because Lonnie lives in Haddonfield, and isn't that the oh gosh, what's his name from 2018? The jerky boyfriend, isn't he the son of Lonnie? I think.
Yes,
right?
yes,
yeah,
yep.
So so it's all makes logical sense. It's
Right.
not just like, hey, everybody loves that Lonnie kid. What, you mean that kid that we saw for 2 minutes in the original and never thought about again?
Right. They got the shit scared out of him by Dr. Loomis.
That was the best thing ever.
Yes, it was. That was great. Got his teasing Tommy Doyle like that, you motherfucker. You got yours.
I love the look on Loomis's face afterward. He's so proud.
He was just so proud and so accomplished with that. It was great.
I scared little kids. This is the greatest night ever. Forget about Michael Myers.
That shit eating grin that he had was just great. It was classic. It was one of my favorite scenes out of that whole movie was when he did that. Like when I was
sheriff
a kid,
scares him afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect. That was like when I was a kid. That was one of the scenes I would always rewind my VHS and just keep watching over and over again, just because I love that scene. It was great. But yeah, that's kind of the news that we got for Halloween, or kind of news and rumors at the same time. And as always, we will keep you updated on the latest things going on with Halloween Kills. So moving on into a little bit of other news here. We had the Joe Bob special last night for Halloween, the Halloween Hootenanny. Shudder did also announce recently that Joe Bob is coming back in time for Christmas. And this is going to be Joe Bob's Red Christmas. That's going to be on December 13th. So that's going to be that Friday night, the same night that Black Christmas remake is coming out, and one of the other horror movies for Christmas. So that's going to be an easy choice for me, because I'm going to end up watching Joe Bob and not going to see Black Christmas that night. So, and it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing from there. I'm really hoping maybe they do Black Christmas this year, because I know the biggest thing that a lot of fans and even Darcy was kind of pushing for is to not do something like what they did last year, where it was all Phantasm. So have it actually be, Christmas holiday movies.
You got plenty of them,
right?
I mean, you have your Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. Pick whatever. Yep. You have Christmas Evil. You have Don't Open Till Christmas. You've got Elves. You've got Black Christmas. Both versions. Well, soon to be 3 versions, but
right.
Yeah, you got a bunch of stuff that you can throw in there. The Santa Sleigh with Goldberg.
I was just thinking that.
That would be great. I think that would be perfect, for a Joe Bob episode. Throw that in there if they can get the rights to that.
What about Jack Frost?
Yeah, Jack Frost. Either Jack Frost, 1 or 2.
That'll be great. Yeah, there's a lot. There really is a lot. And I really hope that they get some good options. And they haven't talked about like how many movies they're going to end up doing or anything like that, because obviously it's still a couple months off. So it's, well, not even a couple months. It's like a month and a half, because this month is almost over. I can't believe how quickly October's gone by.
I know.
I can't believe it's already Halloween this week. It's so wild. But yeah, so Joe Bob's Red Christmas coming to Shudder on December 13th. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially if they end up doing actual Christmas movies this year. So maybe we'll get to see Chris Jericho on that one, because we were talking earlier before we started recording that, because on Halloween Hootenanny, Chris Jericho actually sent in a message about his theory of why Michael Myers is the way that he is, and they were talking about that and how he wants to come onto the show and be able to play the guitar and sing "I'm a Happy Camper," and Darcy was all about that. And honestly, seeing Chris Jericho on Last Drive-In would be amazing, because if you've listened to his podcast when him and Joe Bob did their episode, oh my God, it was great. And Jericho really knows his stuff. He's not just a freaking professional wrestler. He's the music that he's into, and with his band and whatnot, and he's a fucking horror movie buff. I mean, more so than a lot of other people out there. So he really knows his stuff, and him and Joe Bob talking is classic. So even if it doesn't happen during the Christmas special, it'll be great to see him on there at some point. I'm sure, because I'm sure they're going to try to get him on there, and that would be amazing. But so that's something to look forward to for the holiday season, is that special. I'm super excited for that. Now, Ted, what do we got going on Blu Ray wise? Because I know there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of sales coming up and whatnot. So what do we got this week?
All right. Well, it was announced by Blue Underground that they are doing a new 4K scan of Lucio Fulci's House by the Cemetery. It's gonna get released in January. The date is January 21st of 2020. It's going to be a 3-disc limited edition, like they've been doing with Maniac, Zombie, and New York Ripper, where it's going to be a 2-disc edition. Well, it's going to be a 3-disc edition, where the 3rd disc is the soundtrack. So that's coming out, and that's good stuff. You have the Amityville box set. The stuff is it's finally been shipping out to people. I got mine in today. Good stuff. Vinegar Syndrome has announced that for Tammy and the T-Rex, they are going to release a 4K disc in addition to Blu Ray and DVD. And if you pre-ordered it from them already, then you will be receiving an email. I got mine today, giving you the choice to upgrade to the UHD / Blu-ray disc combo for $10 extra dollars. Yep. So they're gonna have two versions. They're gonna have a UHD Blu-ray combo, or you can just get the Blu-ray DVD combo. We have don't forget we've got RoboCop coming up next month from Arrow Video. I believe the date was November 26th. Unless it gets pushed back because it's Arrow, so you know.
Right.
But yep, the RoboCop is getting the good treatment for that. We've got Silver Bullet coming out in December, of course, and they've got a lot of new features for it. They've got the Fly box set coming out in December also. Contains every single movie of the franchise, including the David Cronenberg remake and the sequel to that. They have Big Trouble in Little China also coming out in December. A couple of new features, 2-disc edition. Yep, fully loaded. So, I know I can't either. December's packed with just those 3 releases right there. The Godzilla box set. The official street date is this Tuesday, and it's already shipped to some people. Some people have already gotten it. It looks great. Mine is on its way. I got my shipping notification. I can't wait.
Awesome.
So, yep. So that's coming out. It's an 8-disc set containing the entire Showa series, the original Godzilla, all the way to 1975's Terror of Mechagodzilla. So all 15 films in the first Godzilla continuity, if you will call it that. And so yeah, just a lot of good stuff like that coming out. Wallets will be begging for mercy, and mine will. Also, forgot, if you're like me and you're anal retentive about how you want to keep franchises together, you know, the UK, for any MCU fan, the UK has released, you can buy these from Zavi, or uszavi.com, and they've released on Blu-ray these box sets with each phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the movies aren't ordered, they're in trays, they're not in sleeves. And their Phase 3 Part 2 set is coming out in mid-November. It's like $75, so it's cheaper to buy this box set, and they're region free. They're not region locked, so they'll play on your PlayStation or whatever you got. And it's cheaper to buy the box set than buy the releases here individually, because, you know, freaking Disney likes to charge an arm and a leg for everything. So it's like $25 a movie. Well, you know, this box set, you know, you're getting the last 6 movies of Phase 3 for $75 plus shipping. So that's coming out November 12th, I believe. November 12th is the release date for that. So, you know, I've got the Phase 1, 2, and 3 Part 1 set. So this will be this will be a good, you know, conclusion for that, you know, because we love Endgame. That was a great movie.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming out too. So I said a lot of good stuff is just popping out here.
Yeah, and a lot of these places are starting to do sales and stuff too, because I know that me and you are aware of this, but for those of you that may not know, is currently Full Moon has started their Halloween sale, which goes through November 11th or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's something like mid-November, and like a lot of their Blu-rays and stuff all their Blu-rays are $11 right now, whereas they're normally $20.
Yeah, that Puppet Master box set that they have is back on sale, and it's like it's $180. Yeah, compared to the $250 it was.
Yep. So they got a lot of stuff. They've even got like a mystery bag thing. I ended up getting the mystery bag because I wanted to see what that comes, and that's normally $40. or you get $40 worth of stuff rather for $20. And
I think it said you get more than 40. It said like more than I thought that's what the ad said.
It might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically $20 you get a bunch of shit, and it'll be interesting. I got that because I wanted to see what it came with, because I don't really have a whole lot of stuff from Full Moon anyways. So, and I wanted to get that, so I'm excited to see what that comes with. And
since it's Full Moon, I have a strong feeling you're gonna get some Blu-rays, some DVDs, and one of those DVDs is probably gonna be one of their skin flicks. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, and that'll probably end up in the trash. But
your wife's like, "What did you get?"
Or maybe I'll resell it and gain a profit. But so it'll be interesting to see, even if I get some like memorabilia or something too, because that was one of the things is that they said there'll probably be some memorabilia in there and stuff too, which I like. I like little trinkets and stuff. So
they have some cool merch. I mean, Full Moon does some good stuff. So
even give me a Blade plushie. If nothing else, just give me a Blade plushie in there.
I have a Blade plushie and it's awesome. I never picked up the Torch one though, but the Blade plushie is fantastic.
Because that plushie could go with my Freddy, my Jason, Chucky, Leatherface. I've got like all those plushies from when I used to do like Loot Crate and all those other like horror movie crates that they had for a while.
Yeah.
So it would be just a nice addition to the collection. So hopefully I either get that or even Torch. I mean, I would take either or for plushies. And then things with those plushies though, my dog thinks that it's a toy for him whenever he sees it. So he's always like super excited because he thinks it's for him, but then when I don't give it to him, he gets all sad, and then I feel bad and feel like I have to give him something then. It's a little shithead. But yeah, so Full Moon's definitely got that sale going on. It's going on for a few weeks, so there's plenty of time to be able to check some stuff out here before that goes away. And you can get that more information from that from fullmoondirect.com, I believe is their website, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So go check it out.
You know, Vinegar Syndrome, they're going to have their Black Friday sale on November 28th. And RoninFlix.com, I think they usually have a Black Friday sale, but it's different because it's just like select titles. And it's usually like, you know, buy 3 of these titles and then each movie's like this much off, which is good if you like, there's a lot of stuff you need from them. Like last year there was like 4 or 5 movies or something that I really needed from them, and so I bought them, and it was like really cheap because of that. So that was good. So like there's, because they just released Lucio Fulci's Conquest, which is like his Conan Barbarian type movie. And Fred Olen Ray's horror sci-fi movie Deep Space, which stars Charles Napier. Those just dropped this past week on Blu Ray, so I'm hoping to maybe I can get them for cheap if possible.
Yeah.
But I also want to pick up like Unmasked Part 25 and like Berserker from Vinegar Syndrome. So I'm gonna wait and see.
Those are two I do want to end up getting, especially if they end up doing that Black Friday sale.
I'm picking them up if they're on sale, because I'm just like, you can't beat any cheap price, any price cut. You can't beat.
No, definitely not. Lots of good stuff, and yeah, like you said, wallets are going to be hurting because holidays are coming up, and that's when they get you. That's when they stick it right up the rear.
Pretty much.
But it's all good because you get good stuff out of it. Or usually you get good stuff out of it if you do it wisely enough.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on. Blu-ray and kind of sale news. Now, before we get into talking about the Halloween movies, which is what we're going to be discussing tonight, there's a couple fan films that have been coming out, because we've been talking a lot about fan films lately. And there's 2 in particular that have come out actually recently that have been actually fairly well done. So a group did a Halloween fan film, and I'm sure maybe a lot of you listening have probably already seen it. It's called Halloween Inferno. Now, this is amazing. For being a fan film, they did a really, really good job with this, especially with not really having much of a budget, from what I was understanding with this. It's a 7-minute fan film, so it really doesn't take a whole lot of time out of your day to be able to watch this. And basically, it starts right off from where Halloween 2018 left off, with the house burning and everything. And holy crap, they did a great job with making Michael Myers look like he just got out of a fire.
Yeah. This was a good fan film. I loved it.
I mean, they did a good job because they didn't go full resurrection with like the mask completely melted to his face, obviously.
That looked terrible.
It did. It did.
Movie.
But basically his look, because you had the mask, it had the cut in the mask like it did towards the end of 2018, and the whole right side of the mask was kind of charred, but it wasn't like drastic where it was like the whole mask was completely charred. It was like a good balance of everything, and then like his coveralls were tattered, kind of on the right side too. So it was kind of a weird but kind of a badass look for Michael Myers. Like, this dude just fucking walked out of a fire and went right back to killing. And like the obviously it's an homage to 2018, especially because a lot of the same scenes they kind of remade here, and they use the music from Halloween 2018. Yeah. But I mean, overall, I think they really did a great job, and those title sequence with the fucking burning pumpkin.
Yes, I was gonna say that was so great. I loved it.
Oh my god! I mean,
the jack-o'-lanterns on fire.
When I saw that, I was sold, because I'm like, holy shit! They fucking coated this thing in like oil or something and just lit it on fire. It was just fantastic with that, and it wasn't on there for too long or anything like that, because obviously it's just a short fan film and doesn't need a shit ton of credits. I like that they brought back the yeah, it really was. I like that it kept moving along too. Like, they brought back the character of the sheriff with the cowboy hat and stuff in this, which was great. And they kind of tied up like the loose end with, they found Hawkins' body and stuff like that, and they're trying to determine if they're going to tell everybody, and then they decided to keep it hush hush, and then Michael shows up at another house after he kills somebody and takes their car. And you get the whole walking sequence like you do in the 2018 film, where it goes to Halloween night and everybody's trick-or-treating, him walking and grabbing the hammer and stuff like that. And it was great, because they did that kind of scene again where it was kind of following him like they did in 2018, but at the same time it was still different enough. And I think they did a really good job with that, especially with when it came to the kills. Like, when he hit that guy in the fucking head with the hammer, it looked like he was actually hitting him with the fucking hammer. Without trying to analyze it and trying to see if he actually hit it. Like, quick glances, like, holy fuck, that dude just got smashed in the head with the hammer. And like, when he hit the chick in the head with the hammer too, I'm like, ooh, that sounded gross.
I love that part because she's like, I'll just find somebody else, and then there's Michael and just whack. It's like he found him. There's just somebody else.
Oh, so good.
Roll credits.
Right. And My only nitpick with the short film is at the end, because they had a brand new Michael Myers mask just laying there. Yeah, I would have rather him just stick with the mask looking charred on the one side, because it just looks so creepy with that half charred mask on there. I think it would have been a better look. I mean, I understand, giving him it's almost like giving him a clean slate kind of, with a brand new mask, but at the same time, it's just like, it's the same mask, so really just let him keep the mask that he has and just kind of keep going on with the night.
It's just it's just a placeholder mask till he finds the Halloween 5 mask.
Oh God, please no. Oh, I hate that movie. I still watch it every year if I can make myself do it. I still hate that movie though, but we'll talk about that coming up here.
Gina.
So, Gina. What did you say?
Gina. I love it.
Oh God, I hate that movie. Anyways, so that's Halloween Inferno. Definitely check it out if you haven't, because it's really well worth it. And I'll leave a link to it for the video on YouTube in the description, so that you can check it out too. Now, the other one that came out, which this one really fascinated me, because this is kind of a lot of the same kind of stuff that me and my buddy Jason used to do a lot of the time, with just like, we would get this idea to do a video or whatnot and just do it. Like these guys, so with this, now this is a Evil Dead fan film that they did for this other one. It's called Dead by Dawn. Now, they shot this in one night, number one.
Wow.
They shot it on a budget of $200, which obviously went into all the makeup, because this had really fucking amazing practical makeup in this thing. Like, every aspect of the makeup was fan-fucking-tastic for $200 fucking dollars. Now, this one's about 7 minutes, so about the same thing as Halloween Inferno. The thing that blew my mind with this one is not only did they film it in like one night, they had the whole thing finished in like 72 hours.
Edited and everything, huh? Wow.
Yeah. It says, because I'm reading the article from Bloody Disgusting, and yeah, the entire project came together in just 72 hours. So that's a fucking amazing turnaround for doing a video. Because if you've ever done any kind of video, especially like a short film, that kind of a turnaround, because a lot of times you'll have like these 48-hour film like festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. And to be doing something this like effects intensive, and if you've watched this, holy crap, they've got a lot of effects in here. Practical effects, not even CGI. It's you can tell it's practical effects, and they did a fucking wonderful job with it, and that takes time. I mean, obviously makeup is going to take a lot of time, and the fact that they were able to pull this off, shooting this whole thing and then editing it in 72 hours is bravo to you, because you did a fucking amazing job. So definitely check this one out too, because
it's not long either. It's only like 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, like 6.5, 7 minminutes, something like that.
It's shorter than Halloween Inferno.
Yep, it's definitely shorter, and it's great because they kind of it's almost like a continuation kind of off of the Evil Dead remake, because I had the same kind of Necronomicon from there, not like the traditional one where it's like the face on it, but it was like the stitched together skin and stuff like they did in the remake, which is fine. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. But yeah, oh my God, I saw that and it was so good. And it's the fact that you can do this kind of work in that short amount of time and still have it turn out to be good is great. So, kudos to these guys for doing this and spending that $200, because they really made something that was really good, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially I didn't even know it. They filmed it in one night and then had it all done within 3 days. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's really saying something to have something that length, especially done in that short amount of time. And yeah, really, really good job rather. Good job. Well done.
Yes.
But so, yeah, there's just so many fan films out there nowadays and so much stuff to be able to watch. But obviously nothing's going to beat the classic stuff. Talking about like the Halloween movies and stuff. There's always going to be the fan films, but a lot of them can come close, but there's just something about those films and stuff, especially around this time of year. They're just special, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight is the actual Halloween franchise movies. Because 2 weeks ago we talked about, or maybe it was 3 weeks ago. It's hard to remember just because we took the week off. But we talked about our favorite non-Halloween franchise Halloween movies. But this week we are strictly talking our favorite Halloween movies from the Halloween franchise. And we're going to talk about ones that we like, but also the ones that we may not like so much, you know. And we're also going to talk like our favorite kills from the franchise too, because that's always fun to talk about as well when it comes to these movies. So now, to kind of start things off here, I'll kind of give my take on everything. So when it comes to the Halloween franchise, the ones I always turn to is, first off, Halloween 1 and 2, because you can't beat the classic and the sequel to the original. Now, the biggest reason why I choose those is those were also the first 2 Halloween movies I ever saw. Not even based on the fact that they're the originals. But like Halloween 2 was the first Halloween movie I ever saw. So for the longest time, Halloween 2 was my favorite. And because I first got to see that on USA Up All Night.
Nice.
So I had a VHS recording of that for the longest time. It was actually, funny enough, it was Halloween 2 and Nightmare on Elm Street 2 that I had on VHS. And yeah, I used to watch those constantly. But yeah, Halloween 2 was the first Halloween movie I ever saw. That's what introduced me to Michael Myers. And then I got to go back and see the first one. And, you know, from there. Now, beyond that, probably well, it's hard because I love Halloween 2018. Honestly, if I were to rank them myself, it would probably go currently Halloween 1, the original, Halloween 2018, and then Halloween 2, the 81 version.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I'd probably rank them right now. I don't think for Halloween that anything will ever top the original for me. But definitely right now, Halloween 2018 is a very, very close second. And it's right up there with the first one, in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of my top 3 for right now. What are your favorite currently for that franchise?
All right. Well, my favorite movie in the franchise is Halloween 4. I love that movie. I love the atmosphere it has. I love Rachel as a final girl. And yep. I love how, I love Jamie Lloyd. I think it was great adding a small kid into the, putting her in danger. It made you care more about these characters. Yep. I love Sheriff Meeker. I think he's awesome. He's a sheriff that you want to be sheriff of your town. As the Earl, the bar owner says, aliens can land on his doorstep and all he'd do is spit and get a shotgun, so so that's a sheriff that I want. Brady, he was a jerk for basically going with Kelly against Rachel, trying to sleep with Kelly. But then, he went out like a man, he went out like a hero, so, props to him, and that fight he did with Michael was awesome, just hitting him with the shotgun and then just trying to flat out hit him with his fist and gets his neck crushed, which is awesome. I love, Loomis is great in this, seeing him back, he's got the burned face from the explosion in part 2, he's walking with a cane. So, I mean, there's so many elements and it's great. I mean, the pacing is really fast. The ending is one of the best endings of any horror film because it just comes out of nowhere. You don't see it really coming. You don't see it coming, and all of a sudden Jamie's like possessed by the evil and stabs her foster mom. And then Loomis is like, no, like not again, it's happening again. Like just flat out tries to shoot her right there. Meeker stops him, and she's just standing on top of the stairs with those scissors covered in blood, and then just roll credits. You're just like, oh man. I love the opening credits with that little atmospheric music. It's just kind of like,
that's like my favorite opening credits for the Halloween movies. It felt like Halloween. It felt like, Midwest Halloween. It was great.
Yeah, I love it. Halloween 4 is my favorite. My second favorite would be Halloween 78, the original John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yep.
What more can I say that hasn't been said about that movie? It's great. I view Halloween 4 as basically it's the original, but with just steroids injected into it. And I said the same thing about Friday the 13th Part 2. It's Part 1, but with just steroids. So, yeah, I mean, the first movie is a classic. You introduce everybody. You know, it's Jamie Lee Curtis's first movie. You know, the characters, you know, love the characters. Linda, totally. Annie, you got Tommy, you got little Lindsay. And, I mean, you know, you got Sheriff Brackett, and just a wonderful cast. Usually, you know, the same people that Carpenter, you know, was using up to that point, especially with Nancy Keys and Charles Cyphers. You know, he already used them in a couple of stuff. So, good movie. And of course, you know, Halloween 2 is my third favorite because it's just a perfect double feature to go with the original. And Halloween 2 81, of course, is what I'm talking about. And, you know, love the hospital setting. You know, love Jimmy. And again, I pretty much I love the characters. Bud, he was a freaking jerk, but you know he can make you laugh. It's cold out there. It could get cold in here. Gotcha. Stinking pervert. But Halloween 2 is great. My fourth favorite would be Halloween 2018. I love almost, you know, everything about that movie. I love the music. I love the atmosphere. I love Jamie and her relationship with her family. You know, she's got a strained relationship with her daughter. You know, she's got, you know, a pretty decent relationship with her granddaughter. You know, things I didn't like about that movie was, of course, the crime guy or the podcast guy. You know, Michael. I mean, when I first saw that movie in the theater last year and that scene happened, I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be terrible. Thankfully, it wasn't.
Right.
And I'm so glad they killed him off pretty early on, too, because I was like, oh, good, not to deal with this guy again. So, but yeah, Halloween, you know, those are my top, what I call my top tier. Those are my four favorite of the entire franchise. Nothing's knocked Halloween 4 off its pedestal yet. So, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for the next two, see how they turn out.
Right, definitely. Yeah, if we're doing top tier, if we're doing top 4, then because I did my top 3, I think Halloween 4 would be my number 4 pick for this, just because I love that movie as well for the exact same reasons that you said. It is like the perfect Halloween movie in almost every way.
Yeah,
it's just one of the biggest detractors for me with this movie is the mask. It's just so generic.
I understand. I agree.
It's like it's like those companies that want to say that they're making like a Michael Myers mask that make a cheap ass Michael Myers mask. That's what it makes me feel. Yeah. When I see that mask, and it is the mask. It's not like good, and it's not necessarily that makes that my number 4 pick. It's just that those other ones are just, in my opinion, much better. But either way, I mean, it's still a great movie, and it's still one I love watching every year. I love the score in this movie too. I thought Alan Howarth, or however you say his last name, did a wonderful job of taking John Carpenter's original score and then kind of making it his own, but keeping it the same at the same time. And it was very atmospheric, which I loved. Is like you were saying in the beginning with that whole atmospheric music with the different scenes of like out in the country, seeing like the broken down tractors, the barns.
It's so ominous. It's just like, oh man, this is we're in for a ride, aren't we?
Exactly. It was great. That whole opening credit sequence kind of pulls you in, which is awesome. Now, if we're looking at on the flip side of that, the other movies, now kind of moving on from there. So my number 5 pick with this franchise would probably be Halloween 3. Halloween 3 used to get a whole bunch of shit from everybody. I've always liked Halloween 3. I've never really had a problem with it. It's never been like the greatest movie, but it's never been a bad movie either. And you know, even if you take the Halloween name out of it, I know like if a lot of people would take the Halloween name out of it, they probably like it. It doesn't do anything either way for me. I like the movie and I like watching it. Like this one is my wife's favorite is Halloween 3. Mm-hmm. But I like Halloween 3. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst either.
Oh no, it's not. It's a
Tom Atkins is amazing. Yeah, definitely. So you got Tom Atkins. I like the whole like conspiracy to try to kill everybody in the U.S. You know, with these masks and everything. It's great. And have I said Tom Atkins? I mean, you can't go wrong with Tom Atkins.
Teen Heartthrob.
So, yep, exactly. Wanting to fight Joe Bob for not showing Halloween 3, which they should have. More than one of the other movies that they showed last night, but we'll get to that. So, yeah, that would be my number 5 pick. After that would probably be H2O. With everything that they did wrong with H2O and tried to make it more like Scream, it still wasn't a bad Halloween movie. Because, you know, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis came back and it was kind of like their big showdown and all that. And it's, for being a late 90s Halloween franchise movie, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. It
did leave a lot to be desired.
That's the thing, yeah. It's not horrible. It's not great either.
Right, exactly. Now, from there, after that would probably be Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie. I liked it, but it's still like taking the whole mythology out of Michael Myers and just turning him into some white trash kid that grew up with family issues is like, okay.
I'm not listening.
Right.
Some of the most foul-mouthed people I've ever heard in my entire life is in that movie. It's so freaking ridiculous.
Now, and honestly, with Rob Zombie's movies, like most of the time it is white trash people and whatnot, which is fine if it's a certain type of movie, like The House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. It works perfectly
for those, yeah.
It does work perfectly, and it's great, and those movies are awesome. But with Halloween, and even Rob Zombie has said that he like struggled making these movies, even, and it almost shows, because he wants to do his own thing, which is great. Kudos to him for at least trying. It just wasn't my cup of tea for the most part. Yeah. Now, after they get past the whole family bullshit in the beginning, like the last half of the movie is great.
Yeah.
Like if they would have stuck with that and that's it, that would have been perfect. Like we watched that one cut that somebody did where they cut together his first one and the second one, like the very beginning of the second one into one.
Oh yeah, we did. I remember that. Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, and that would have been like a perfect Halloween movie if they would have just did something like that. And if you guys haven't checked that out,
it was on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's great because they just cut out all this stupid bullshit and just left it where it kept more of a mystery about Michael, which was great, and how it should have been done. But that's neither here nor there, because what's been done is done. So after Rob Zombie's first Halloween, let's see, because we still got... Oh, you know what? I kind of fucked that up a little bit. So actually, after H2O would be Curse of Michael Myers for me.
All right.
I completely forgot about that. Curse of Michael Myers was another one of the early Halloween movies I got to see when I was a kid, because that came out when I was 11, I believe, because I was 95.
Yeah.
So
I was 10.
Yep. So that one was great. And people, we were talking about this earlier with like people either going either or with either producer cut or theatrical cut.
Mm-hmm.
I like them both personally, so I don't really rate one higher than the other. I consider it all. It's like a different take on it, honestly.
Yeah, each has its pros and cons, which kind of evens everything out, in my opinion.
Exactly. So I'm not going either or for one or the other. when I'm rating this. It's all kind of in the same area. I do like Halloween Curse of Michael Myers a lot. It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine because
Yeah, I like
this one is also not a great movie,
No, it's
but
not.
it's one I do like to watch. So
That one had a
it goes that
horrible
one,
production problem behind the scenes.
right?
Oh, it's so
Exactly.
terrible. It's
Plus, we
it's
get
amazing
introduced
it got
to Paul
made.
Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's
Yeah.
first movie that he ever made.
Yep. So if nothing else, that came out of it, which was great. But yeah, so it goes Curse of Michael Myers, then Rob Zombie's Halloween. So after that, the worst two, in my opinion. I don't know. Resurrection or H5.
What about Rob's
Oh,
H2?
Halloween. It's like a triple way tie there, actually. I forgot about H2. They're all... I'm just going to say those are the three that I hate watching, so they're all kind of last place to me. I can't really decide out of those three because they're all god-awful terrible. Ugh. So, the one thing I will say with Resurrection, I don't know why a lot of people hate the mask. I actually like the mask in that one.
The mask is not the problem in that movie. The mask is fine.
No.
I've never had a problem with that mask. Yeah, it's a decent mask.
Yeah, so the mask and the music are good in Resurrection. Nothing else is really great other than Busta Rhymes being comic relief.
Skedaddle.
Right.
Some of the lines he says is great.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think those three are my least favorite, and I can't really rate them because they're all... if I have to watch them, I'll watch them. Or if I've got nothing else to watch, I'll watch them. But those three are tough to get through for me. So that's kind of my ranking with it.
What about the white horse? Don't you like the white horse?
Don't get me started on that bullshit, because that was ridiculous.
Well, it just shows that Michael was a fan of My Little Pony, and he has a horse instead of a pony, so I don't even know where I was going with this, so never mind.
Surprised. Right, so back to you.
I'm surprised Rob didn't glue a horn on that horse's head and it's like a unicorn.
Oh, please no. Please no.
All
right. So you starting with your fifth pick here, going on from there.
Well, my fifth pick is the same as yours, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Sure, it's not a Michael Myers movie, but you know what? I have nothing but respect for everybody involved, especially Tommy Lee Wallace and John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
Yep.
They want to do something different. They want to do, a different Halloween movie every year with a different story, different characters. Unfortunately, this movie didn't do as well as they hoped, so they could continue doing that. And but you know what? I love the opening. It mirrors the first two movies with the pumpkin, except now it's a computerized pumpkin, being loaded up on your screen while the credits are.
That was great.
Yeah, I love that. It's just it kept it's the end of the John Carpenter trilogy, I guess I call it that, and so they just do a different variation of the opening. Halloween you have the pumpkin. Halloween 2 you have the pumpkin, but it opens up and shows the skull, and then Halloween 3 it's the computerized looking, like on a computer screen, so it looks cool. The mask, the whole mask being booby-trapped for kids, I like. Cochran is a great villain and can chill you to the bones. Especially, when I was watching it Wednesday night before AEW, the way he just looks at Tom Atkins, he's like, "Oh, and happy Halloween." Just the way he says it, I'm just like, oh my goodness, this guy would make me crap my pants. And, the whole Stonehenge thing I liked. Of course, Tom Atkins, teen heartthrob, as Joe Bob called it. So, Tom Atkins is great in anything. I love Tom Atkins. He's a great actor. Can't give him enough love. I love the music. The music is fantastic in this movie. Alan Howarth and John Carpenter, they did a great job because they collaborated a lot back in the day. So, it's a fantastic score. You have the weird robots that can sneeze, and then they're made of goo. And then you just have that ending where he's just screaming into the phone, telling the stations to stop the commercial. It's just stop it, and roll credits. And you're just like, oh my goodness, did they stop it, or did all the kids die?
Right.
Yeah, I feel sorry, for Tommy Lee Wallace, because he turned down Halloween 2. Because he's like, I don't want to do the same thing, Michael Myers. And then Halloween 3 came along. He's like, oh man, this is, a great idea, something different. And, he probably was really just kind of bummed out how it turned out and people hating on it. And, of course, the main thing back then, you hear, oh, I hate that movie because it had Michael Myers in it. But, it's a good movie, just.
Yeah.
It just because it's called Halloween, don't let that, turn you off. But you have that. So that's my 5th favorite of the franchise. Good movie. My 6th would be Halloween 5. I don't hate this movie. I know you do. I don't. I've got issues with it. With the script was basically rushed, and it's basically a first draft script. This is where the franchise started having issues. Is Halloween 5, but I like the movie. I like the daytime scenes. I like how it's shot. Tina doesn't annoy me as much as a lot of people. She's annoying, don't get me wrong, but she just doesn't annoy me that much. And she redeems herself in the end when she dies protecting Jamie. Danielle Harris is the best actor in this movie. She... for being, what was she, like 9 or 10 at the time when she made Halloween 5? Or she
12?
turned 12, something like that.
13. She turned 13, I think.
She turned, okay. I mean, that's young, and she was fantastic. Yeah. The kid who played Billy, did a good job of being, stuttering, even though he didn't, he's not a real stutterer, and he's not stuttering in real life. I think if I remember correctly, he said he like had a coach that coached him on how real people stutter. So you have that. You have Crazy Loomis in this movie. This is full on Loomis just being insane, and I know I definitely make fun of this a lot. Loomis is shaking Jamie. So every time I'm watching Halloween 5, even just Thursday night when I watched 4 and 5, when I got to 5, I just started doing this voice, and it's like, what would make her better if you just shake the children. Shake all the children. And so I'm throughout the entire thing, like he's talking to Michael in the woods, and I'm just thinking, Michael, I'll make the rage go away. I just gotta shake you. Come here now. Just let me shake you. It's not a great movie. That mask is pretty woo. The mask is, I don't know where they got that mask from.
Yeah, don't get me started on that mask.
And you have
that in the Myers house.
Oh yeah,
what the fuck were they thinking with the Myers house?
The Myers house is all of a sudden like a Victorian mansion now. All of a sudden, it's weird looking. It doesn't look like anything we saw in parts 1 and 2. We didn't see the Myers house in 4, but darn, it looks nothing like the Myers house before or after. It's weird looking. Rachel dies in the beginning, which is a bummer because Rachel is one of my favorite characters of the franchise, period. She's my favorite final girl.
She was one of my crushes when I was a kid.
Yeah, oh gosh. I still have a crush on her. That's why. And words of Al Bundy, that's why we have video to look at them. If I had a video of your mom, I'd still be having sex with her. Oh, Al Bundy. But yeah, 5, it's just right there in the middle. It entertains me enough. You have bland characters, like you have Tina's boyfriend, who's also named Mike.
Yep.
He's a dipstick, and, you're so happy when Michael takes that garden rake and slams it in his head. And you have Sam and Spitz, who do nothing. They're just there to try to, get busy, and then Michael kills him. That's basically it. There's nothing special there's nothing special about these new characters. You have Meeker's back, and Meeker, he doesn't play a big role in this movie like he did in part 4. He's kind of just in and out.
Yep.
But you have the Man in Black, that they introduced the Man in Black in the middle of filming just to spice things up. They didn't have a plan for it. It wasn't even in the script. So it's just like they had Don Shanks, who played Myers in the 5th movie. They're like, here, put this on and put these boots on and just we'll film you walking around. And it's just like, what the crap? And of course, you have this movie introduces Thorn, and originally that Thorn tattoo was just used to bring Michael back to life with the original Dr. Death opening, and that was supposed to be it. But now then it just became something entirely different, and it became a cluster. The whole thing became a cluster. I can enjoy it for what it is, but this is when the series started to really have a downturn.
Yep.
The next movie, my 7th favorite I would rank would be Curse of Michael Myers. I rank this above H2O because it has atmosphere and it actually feels like Halloween. Another problem with that is since H2O takes place in California, so it doesn't have that Halloween feeling to it. But Halloween 6, both versions, like you said, I'm not going to put one version above the other. It's a mess of a movie. It has so many script problems. The original script was completely different, and then it got rewritten I don't know how many times. And then they filmed the producer's version, and then sadly Donald Pleasance passed away. And then they had to do the reshoots because a group of 14-year-old boys said, oh, this sucks. So they're like, oh, we got to refilm this. Oh, but Donald Pleasance isn't even with us anymore. So they had to film around that, and they filmed the whole new ending with the doctors being massacred and chasing through Smith's Grove, which was great. Yep. I love that ending. That's a great ending, I think. But I do have nostalgia for this because it was the first Halloween movie I saw it in the theaters. I was 10. I was with my father.
God, I wish I could have seen this one in the theater.
And there was not a lot of people there. I remember there was maybe 3 other people in the theater. But it was my first. It was my first horror film. Really, at 10 years old, it's what started me on this path to horror. And the plot doesn't make any sense no matter which version you watch, because if you watch the theatrical, then what are the doctors trying to do? Is Wynn and them just trying to harness the evil? If that's the case, then what was the point of Jamie having the baby? They cut out the whole Michael being the father subplot from the producer's cut. So what the heck is going on with that? Did they just use experiments on her and why let Michael loose? It doesn't make any sense. I don't even, it doesn't, period. Why would, since they're not really a cult in the theatrical version, then why would Michael hang around with them and not just butcher them and be done with it? It doesn't make any sense. The producer's cut, it doesn't make sense with the cult because, you have Jamie and the baby. So Jamie gets killed. Of course, Jamie dies a different way in whatever version you watch. In the theatrical version, she has the gorier death in the theatrical version when she gets slammed on that farm equipment and Michael turns it on. And then you have the man in black shooting her in the head in the producer's cut in the hospital because she just gets stabbed in the barn in that version and survives. Only to get shot in the head because after she goes to the hospital. We don't see her again until she's dreaming and she dreams what happened to her and then she gets shot in the head. So that was a waste. So I prefer,
right.
So I was like, I prefer her death in the theatrical. At least it gives us something. And then, you have her and the baby. She dies. So it's just the baby. Michael, they mentioned the reason he's killing off the Strodes, which are relatives of Laurie. Basically it's her uncle, aunt, and cousins. So Michael basically wipes the whole family out except for Kara. But the plan was to pass the curse on to Danny, but there's only his mother left at this point, Kara. So what was the plan for that? That doesn't make any sense either. Wouldn't he be done by just killing his mom and that's it? Right. And then it opens up a whole league of questions why didn't Michael butcher his mom and dad in the original Halloween if this was all, nothing adds up. It doesn't make sense. I enjoy it for the atmosphere. The theatrical version has some really cool kills, cool ending. The cult ending is cool to see, but you have like Michael being stalked by rocks. The whole thing's just a mess, but I don't hate it. I can't watch, I can't hate it. I enjoy watching it, but I'm not, fooling myself. It's got some problems no matter what version you watch.
Right.
It's just wow. I feel sorry for everybody involved in that movie because they said that it was horrible and that they didn't want to work like on another Halloween movie. Maybe they've changed, they could have changed their minds. I'm pretty sure Paul Rudd, if he wasn't busy doing Ghostbusters, he would come back to Halloween Kills to play Tommy again like he did in Curse. Yeah. But, that is what it is. So then my next pick after Curse is H2O. It's a fine slasher film. The music's good. Jamie Lee's in top form. I like her character. I like her son. I like Michelle Rim. I like the characters. Characters are fine. LL Cool J's cool. He's funny. He's not full on Busta Rhymes like in Resurrection, but right. But the movie is just lacking that umph. It feels pretty tame to be since it was technically supposed to be the finale of the whole franchise at that point. They're ignoring 4 through 6, which, like I said, it didn't make me mad, but it just makes me disappointed because, now it's just like, oh, you got 1, 2, and H2O. This whole franchise has like 5 different continuities now, so it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. It does not matter. So H2O's fine. It's just, it has that late 90s slasher vibe to it, like Scream came out and then you had like Urban Legends, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and all that stuff, so it kind of falls into that category. It feels like
it honestly feels like they just dropped Michael Myers in a Scream movie. Is what it kind of feels like, because you have
even though I like these characters in this movie, they're not deplorable. I don't hate them. They're funny, lighthearted.
Yep.
Some of them are smart alecky. I mean, of course, Kevin Williamson wrote the movie, so, of course, he wrote Scream, exactly. So, it has that's why it has that vibe to it. But, that whole, almost kind of self-aware stuff. I mean, because, you have, like, Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom in real life. She's in the movie, and you see her, she has the car from Psycho, and... Yep. And they played basically the Psycho music when she says Happy Halloween, Miss Tate, and is going home for the weekend. And, it's just like, okay, we get it. She was in Psycho and she's Jamie Lee's mom. We get it, It's just that meta stuff that's thrown in. So, not bad, just not great. Just kind of like, because when I was watching it this morning, because I woke up early this morning, and I just like, I'm just gonna pop it in because the next one I got to watch. I still enjoy it for what it is. So
yep.
After that, I'll put Rob Zombie's Halloween because I don't like the white trash stuff, but there's some decent acting in there. I like Malcolm McDowell in this one too as Dr. Loomis. I do think he did a good job as Loomis. Yeah, so he's got that. You've got Donald. I was about to say Donald Pleasance. You got Brad Dourif, as Sheriff Brackett. You got Daniel Harris back, kind of to make up for the crappy way they wouldn't let her come back in Curse of Michael Myers because they didn't want to pay her the $5,000 she was asking for because she had to get emancipated first for them to even consider her, and then they were going to only pay her like less than scale or something like that. And then she's like, can I just get $5,000 to put back in my bank? So, because it costs money to be emancipated because I'm only 17. And they're like, oh no, you're only scale plus character. So, you get killed off in the first 15 minutes. You're not going to get 5,000. She's like, wow. She's like, well, that's the way you think of me. I'm just not going to do it, so I don't blame her for not doing the movie. But so it's kind of like, being made up. Like, oh, here's Daniel Harris, she's back as Sheriff Brackett's daughter. I don't, my beef with this movie, of course, is the language. The language just goes so far. You're just like, there's more cussing in the first 10 minutes of this movie than Halloween through Halloween Resurrection have combined. It's just, F you, I'm going to skull the F out of you, F you, brother. I'm just like, really? I don't know anybody who talks like that. Oh, man. Cinematography makes it look dirty, too. I'm not a big fan of how the movie looks itself. But the story isn't bad. It's a Rob Zombie movie. I mean, it is what it is, you know. So I don't have much to say on that. I do like the remake part of it, like you mentioned, when they actually remake John Carpenter's movie when we're done with the prologue prequel stuff, the White Trash Family stuff. So you know. So after that, I would just put Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I love the cinematography of that movie. I love how, you know, you can see Laurie as really damaged after surviving what she survived. It's just the problem is they made her annoying for it and crying and stuff. So, you know, I like to see a realistic damaged person, but, you know, sometimes it could be too realistic, and so she just becomes annoying. And she's like, I'm Michael Myers' sister. It's just like, oh, shut up. Just shut up.
Right.
The new characters aren't great. It's nice seeing Howard Hessman as like the record shop owner, even though he's only in one scene. But, you know, I like Howard Hessman, so it was nice to see him. I kind of like Michael's mask being torn up. Some of the kills I like, but, you know, you have the weird white horse thing. It was just an excuse so Rob can have his wife in the movie because she's got to be in everything that he does, apparently. And so, and so it's just like, it's really, this is full on close to, you know, basically Friday the 13th right here. So, but I think the movie looks good. It looks better than his first movie. I love the hospital scene. That was great. I love, you know, the movie feels like it takes place on Halloween. You know, it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie for me to watch during the Halloween season, but whenever I do watch it, it feels like the movie does take place on Halloween. It has that look. I mean, because they filmed it in Georgia instead of California, like the first remake. So I mean, that kind of helped.
Right.
So you have that. And then, of course, my least favorite is Resurrection. This movie was just terrible as a Halloween movie. Oh gosh, just everything about it. After the whole, Laurie's an idiot. The way she dies is so stupid. First off, I don't know why she thought that dropping Michael from the building was going to kill him, because he survived an explosion. Since this takes place after H2O, but Halloween 2 is still in continuity, so he survived being shot like 11 times and blown up, and he didn't die. So what makes her think this is going to happen? This is going to do it. And then he starts acting like that. The whole dumb story about him switching places with the paramedic doesn't make sense, because paramedics, it's always two that go in. One doesn't go in by themselves. That's the whole thing. So, anyway, that whole switcheroo thing was so dumb. And then he just acts like the paramedic, even though it doesn't make sense. How would he know the paramedic acted like that? Because she drove like miles away, and there's no way he would have caught up to her to see that happen. So it's stupid. Right. It's stupid. So she dies, and then we have these college kids. Busta Rhymes is doing an internet show. They're gonna look through Myra's house, you know, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. If the movie wasn't a Halloween movie, it was just a regular slasher movie, it would be really fun. But when it's a Halloween movie, expect a little bit more, because Halloween wasn't really just a slasher movie to begin with. It is, but it isn't. You have different elements that, like Friday the 13th is completely different from Halloween. Nightmare on Elm Street is completely different from Halloween. And other slasher films, they're not the same. Halloween's just different than the other slasher series that you have. In this movie, it just ruins it, because you think, okay, so he killed Lori, is he gonna go after the son? Is he gonna go after John? No, we don't know anything about John ever again. We only see like his picture in the movie hanging above her bed. It's like all crumpled up. You can barely even tell it's him. So I mean,
right?
It's a bad movie. Busta Rhymes is the most entertaining thing. He has the best lines. It's annoying characters. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know what's really funny with this movie? The one thing that they absolutely did perfect and they did right was recreating the fucking Myers house.
Yeah.
None of the other movies could get that fucking right.
No.
But for whatever reason, for everything that this movie did wrong, they did that one thing just like incredibly right. Now, I talked about like how I like the music and like the mask and everything, but that house was like a perfect recreation of the Myers house for the most part.
And it was on a soundstage, so that helps too. So
yeah, it's just like, how can you do that one thing right, but like everything else just almost completely wrong?
Yeah, I know. I said the music, the mask, the house. There's the stuff I like. Busta Rhymes I like. You just have these annoying characters like, what's her name? The blonde girl. I watched it today and I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name now. But
I can't remember her name either.
Yeah, she's annoying as crap. She's not funny. You have Sean Patrick Thomas. He's like going to school to be a chef and he's just obsessed with food. At least he went out like a hero, I guess. He saved the main chick, Sarah. It doesn't, and Sarah, they make it seem like she has some weird connection with Myers, but she really doesn't. And it doesn't make sense why she keeps seeing him, like in the window, like in the reflection of the windows and stuff before they do the Dangertainment stuff. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing I could think of finally when I was watching this movie is because them. After the Lori part, we're introduced to her sitting in their college classroom. They're talking about the psychosis and the psyche, and this thing is called the shadow. And so I'm like, okay, but why is she seeing Myers if that's supposed to be a representation of that thing? I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense. And you have Tyra Banks, why is Tyra Banks in a Halloween movie? Why is Tyra, she had a death scene and everything and they cut it out. I was like, the one thing people would want to see you cut out of that movie. Yeah. Oh, jeez. It's the worst of the franchise for me. So, yeah. So that's my ranking of each movie. 4, 1, 2, 2018, 3, 5, 6, H2O. Rob Zombie 1, 2, Resurrection. That's how I rank them.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I don't know, Resurrection. That's something else. Yeah, it's funny because like two of the worst ones, even though I don't consider H2O the worst. H2O and Resurrection were the first ones I got to see in the theater. Mm-hmm. And I actually saw them both multiple times in the theater. It's so like back in the day I loved them. It was probably because I got to see a horror movie in the theater, and so I took what I could get.
Well, you and I are basically the same age, so like when I saw Resurrection in the theater, and I was just dumbfounded. Even I was 17, and I was like, what's the deal of this movie? And then when it was over, and I was like, that's it? That's all we get? I was disappointed. It wasn't anger, it was disappointment. I was just like, man. Because, there was a 4-year wait in between H2O and Resurrection. H2O, I was like in the 8th grade or about to go in the 8th grade because it came out during the summer. And, I had a blast. I went with my dad and one of my friends. All three of us went. We had a blast. It was a fun time. It was a fun movie. We enjoyed it. Loved the heck out of it. It was fun. And then Resurrection comes out. My dad and I, go see that. And I'm just like, what the heck? What the heck is this? I was like, I expect, like I said earlier, I expected Lori to get killed because Jamie Lee was only on set for 4 days. But then, after that, I was just like, I was expecting something else, like going after her son, or something. No, it's just, hey, he's chilling in his basement room eating rats and then kills people in the house. So it's like, that's why I was like, this is better as a standalone slasher. Just don't make him Myers. and just say,
Yep.
you can still have the same plot and everything with the internet show. It'd be like, we're here, because this is, just invent another serial killer. This is an abandoned house, and I mean, and then it'd be the exact same movie. It's just not Myers. It's just.
Yep.
And it would be just like, hey, this is just a fun slasher, but no, with Halloween, it's a disappointment. I'm just like, ugh.
I agree 100%. It was a disappointment. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But all right, so enough talking about the worst ones. So if you were to pick one kill out of the franchise, what would be your favorite kill?
Ooh. I can say. See, I've got a favorite kill from each one. So I'll say like my favorite from part 4. It's a toss up between poor Bucky getting fried on the electric grid and Kelly getting impaled with the shotgun. I know as a kid, when he had that shotgun, I was like, holy crap, Michael Myers has a gun now. He's going to shoot people. Nah, he just stabs her with it. And I was like, holy crap, that's even worse.
Yep.
So it's a toss-up between those two kills on Halloween 4. Halloween 1, my favorite, of course, would probably have to be Bob getting stuck on the pantry door, then Myers just looking at him. It's classic. Halloween 2... I would have to say my favorite kill for that one. I would say Nurse Jill. She's the one who gets stabbed with the scalpel from behind, and he lifts her up in front of Laurie, and then her clogs fall off. That's my favorite kill of Halloween 2. My favorite from 2018 would probably have to be the whole when the long shot of him following. He has the hammer and he beats that person with the hammer. I don't know, just something so visceral because you don't actually see it on screen, but you see the aftermath. I'm just like, ooh.
Yep.
So I would have put that up for that movie. Halloween 3 obviously would have to be the Kepler family. The boy with his face melting and all the snakes and stuff coming out, and obviously that's the big one for me, that one. Halloween 5, Mike getting the rake in the face. The guarding rake, because he was a dipstick and he deserved it. I loved that Myers just insulted him too by scratching his car up first. Just bong.
That was great.
I was like, yes, take this Fonzie wannabe out. Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers. The dad getting electrocuted and his head exploding. That's just awesome. That's the greatest kill. I love the massacre scene at the end of that movie, but the strobe lights, you can't see everything. With him, man, it's just boom. You're just like, that's great. John Carr Beekler did a great job. H2O would be there's not this is the problem with H2O. There's not really anything that defines the killing's not really
skate to the face.
The skate to the face. I was thinking of Will too when he got lifted up too, but yeah, I'll stick with the skate to the face, even though we don't actually see it. We just see the aftermath. I like that.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's Halloween. That one's hard too because the kills are so visual. I'll say, when he kills what's his face, Ronnie, he straps him to the chair and then slits his throat because I couldn't stand that character. So him. Halloween 2, the nurse in the hospital sequence.
Yes.
That's my favorite kill in that movie. In
Octavia Spencer.
Yes. He's just stabbing. I'm just sitting in the theater and I'm just like, oh, darn. And he's just like, "Rrr." That's another thing of Halloween too, freaking grunting. What's he grunting?
Oh, God.
But anyway, and then Resurrection, my favorite kill in Resurrection would probably be the guy in the leather jacket gets his head crushed and the blood comes out of his eyes and nose and stuff. So I would say that was my favorite kill of him.
Okay. Yeah, I think for the most part, the ones you mentioned are probably my favorite too from each movie, with the exception for Halloween 4.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite kill for that is always the thumb in the forehead.
Oh, yeah. The ambulance.
Yep. That one I always... It's just so, like, just visceral and just, like, ugh. And the, like, the sound effects that they did with that, it just sounds so gross. And just so, like, ugh. It was
yeah,
great.
it's great.
And with... what was the other one? Oh, Resurrection, when Chick gets her... Didn't she get her head chopped off?
Oh,
rolls down the stairs.
Yeah, the blonde chick, the annoying chick did. Yeah.
Yep.
Just one swipe and it was bump, bump, falls down the stairs.
Yep. That was my favorite one from Resurrection. So, but yeah, otherwise, all the other ones are spot on for my favorites for the franchise. We would love to hear what you guys think, and if you guys rank them any differently, or what your favorite kills are from the franchise. Feel free to communicate with us through social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All are at CLS Podcast. But otherwise, we do want to thank you for joining us back here after we took our week off. We can't wait for next week. We'll be getting into November, next week, which is amazing that October's gone by this quick. It's getting colder, and I'm not looking forward to winter. But
oh, no.
We got some good... Yeah, but we got some good horror movies coming out here for the winter time, and Christmas time is always good to watch. Like Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and once you start getting into New Year's, yep,
Garbage Day,
like New Year's Evil. Yes, definitely. So there's definitely some things with the holiday season to kind of look forward to, especially with all these sales and stuff. Like we were talking about for movies and whatnot. So there's plenty to look forward to, but I'm just personally not looking forward to the cold. But
no, I'm not either.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you guys for taking a listen tonight. And as Ted always says,
see you next week.
Thanks for joining us today for the CLS Podcast. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com or join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.